So hello everyone, welcome to this new video. In this video we are going to discuss the current affairs of January 2020. So if you are appearing for 2021 prelims, you need to cover the current affairs from January 2020 to be on the safer side. So as far as the covering of current affair is concerned, so I am going to help you with it as I am revising my current affairs. So I thought, why not make a video and help you out as well. So let's start, and please subscribe to the channel for more videos so that we can study together. So let's move and see the first topic. So the first topic is Indian History Congress. So for prelims you need to know about the IHC, that is Indian History Congress, its origin and objectives. So first of all, so let's see why was this topic in news. So this topic of Indian History Congress was in news because recently means like in January 2020, the 80th session of Indian History Congress was held at Kannur in Kerala. So it called upon political and administrative authorities to pursue the constitutional duty of promoting composite culture, which is vital to promoting territorial unity of India. Okay, so this is a part of your fundamental duty also, and under the directive principles and fundamental rights, these provisions are explicitly mentioned. Okay, so you need to know that that this particular thing, that is promotion of composite culture, is part of article 51A, that is the fundamental duties. Okay, so that is the first thing. Second thing, what is Indian History Congress? So it was founded in 1935, and it is the largest association of professional historians in South Asia. That means it not only comprises of Indian historians but historians from whole South Asia. Okay, so it has about 35,000 members, of which 2,000 delegates participate every year, and it has been holding its session very regularly from inception and publishing proceedings every year since 1935. So this point is not important. So its main objective is to promote secular and scientific way of history writing. Okay, so another thing is the BISM, that is Bharat Itihas Samshodak Mandala, organized an All India Congress in 1935, and it celebrated its silver jubilee in Pune. And as an outcome of this All India Congress, Indian History Congress was born in 1935 with about 50 delegates. Then this Bharatiya Itihas Samshodak Mandal was actually founded by Vishwanath Kashinath Rajwade in the year 1910, and it was founded in Pune with the support of K.C. Mehendale. Okay, so these are some important facts for your PT which you need to remember. Moving on to the other heading, the other news is about Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and it is related to your modern history and art and culture portion both. Okay, so this you need to know in the context of modern Indian history as well, and in terms of the religion and culture portion as well. So as far as the modern Indian history is concerned, you need to know about the wars he fought and what were the territorial conflicts with which he had. Then you need to know about the Banda Singh Bahadur also, that how he conquered the areas, and that is related to the political history by and large. But here the concern is related to the birth anniversary of Guru Gobind Singh, which was celebrated on the January 2nd of year 2020. In this year, that is 2021, it was celebrated around 20th January as far as I remember. Okay, so there are few points which you need to remember as per the magazine. So he was the 10th Sikh Guru. He was born in Patna. This is his birth date, that is 22nd December 1666. Okay, and his birthday, like the Jayanti, actually varies according to the year, and it is basically uh, calculated according to the Nanak Shahi calendar. He became the guru at age of 9, and he is known for the significant contributions. For example, the introduction of turban to cover the hair, which was not prevalent earlier. It became more prevalent when the Guru Gobind Singh became guru. And he also started the principle of 5 Ks or Khalsa. He is responsible for establishing the highest order in Sikh community, and these certain facts are not that much important for your exam. And apart from it, he fought the Battle of Muktasar in 1705. He was assassinated in 1708, and after like some time, he um, preached his people that Guru Granth Sahib would be the religious book which the Sikh people will follow, and there would be no guru in the human form from there onwards. Okay, so these were some key contributions which you need to remember for your prelims, and you need to remember certain facts related to political history as well. So please revise it. Okay, so those points related to political history are not mentioned here, so please revise those points also. So the other thing is Indian harvest festivals. So the harvest season is on, and festivities have gripped the nation from north to down south. Okay, so this is the context. Okay, basically it talks about the harvesting festival, harvest season in the country, but it has given you the hint also in the way the question can be asked. For example, as this heading mentions that north to south. Okay, so what they will do is they will give you certain names of the harvesting season festivals. Okay, suppose they give you the four names, and then they will tell you to arrange them from north to south according to their names. Okay, so in that way you have to remember that the questions can be asked in an innovative way also, so you should remember the things properly. Okay, so the first is Makar Sankranti. So the festival of Makar Sankranti is celebrated in Karnataka, will be celebrated in Karnataka when the sun enters the Makar zodiac and the days begin to lengthen as compared to nights. That means we are heading towards summer. Okay. The other name is Pongal, that is which is celebrated in South India and particularly in Tamil Nadu. So this Pongal which is celebrated in Tamil Nadu, like is extended over 4 days. Okay, so it's like a 4-day festival. Then another name is Magh Bihu. In Assam and in many parts of northeastern India, it is celebrated. The festival sees the first harvest of season, and the produce was produce is offered to gods along with the prayers for peace and prosperity. The other name is Uttarayan, which is celebrated in Gujarat, and it is in the form of convivial kite festival of Uttarayan. Okay, so in Gujarat it is known as Uttarayan. The other name is Maghi, which is prevalent in the Punjab, and Makar Sankranti is celebrated as Maghi. So here the bathing in river is the ritual in the early hours of Makar Sankranti or Maghi, you can say. The other name is Saji, that is celebrated in the Shimla district of Himachal Pradesh. Okay, and Makar Sankranti is known as Magha Saji. Then Saji is the Pahadi word for Sanskriti, that is the start of new month. So therefore this particular day marks the start of month of Magh. Then another name is Kicheri. This festival is also known as Kicheri in Uttar Pradesh, and it involves ritual bathing. Okay, so these were the regional names which you should know for these particular festivals. Okay, these are related to the harvest season. Now the other thing is that outside India there are two names which have been mentioned in the magazine. The first name is Shakran, that is the annual celebration of winter in Bangladesh, and it is observed with flying of kites. Another name is Maghe Sakranti, which is a Nepali festival observed on the 1st of Magh in Bikram Samvat Hindu solar Nepali calendar, and it falls around January 14. Okay, so these are the two names, and these festivals are celebrated in our neighboring countries. The first one is in Bangladesh, and the second one is in Nepal. Moving on to the fourth topic, that is related to the classical language. So for prelims, you need to remember classical language recognition benefits and significance. So the context is that at recently concluded 93rd edition of Akhil Bharatiya Marathi Sahitya Sammelan, a resolution was passed demanding the declaration of Marathi as a classical language. Okay, so there is a demand for declaring Marathi as a classical language. So let us see what are the criteria for recognition and what are the benefits, and then what is the significance. So first of all, let us see what are these classical languages in India. So presently there are six classical languages in India. I mean six languages which enjoy this classical status. So first is Tamil, then Sanskrit, then Kannada, Telugu, Malayalam and Odia. So these are six languages which enjoy this status of classical language. So how are they classified, and what are the guidelines for declaring a language as a classical language? Let us see. So here the criteria is that there should be high antiquity of its early text, and the history should be recorded over a period of 1500 to 2000 years. So that is the first criteria. Second is that a body of ancient literature or the text which is considered valuable heritage by generation of speakers. So obviously any generation speaking a particular language from say many years will consider their heritage or consider their language as a valuable asset. Then the literary tradition to be original and not to be borrowed from any other speech community. The fourth criteria is the classical language and literature should be distinct from the modern ones, and there may also be a discontinuity between classical language and its later forms of its offshoots. So these are certain technical points which you should not worried about. Just remember this because they can ask you in the PT that which of the following are the criteria to classify a language as a classical language. So these 4 points must be in your mind. So first is related to the timeline, the second is related to the uh, like it should be considered as a heritage by generation of speaker. Second thing, then the third thing is that it should not be borrowed, and the fourth one, as we have seen, is that it should be a distinct form of literature and should be different from the modern ones. So how are the classical languages promoted and what are the various benefits associated with it? So there are two major international awards for scholars of eminence in the Indian classical languages. Apart from it, a center of excellence for studies in classical languages is set up. Then the University Grant Commission is requested to create, with at least in the central universities, a certain number of professional chairs for the classical language so declared. Okay, so that means it gives you a kind of wider representation, you can say. Okay, then moving on to the other topic, that is related to the Bharati script. So for prelims you need to know about the script, the similar scripts all over the world, and for mains you need to know about the need for common script, significance, and the challenges involved. So let us see these things one by one. So the context of the news is that researchers from IIT Madras have developed a unified script for 9 Indian languages, and it has been named as a Bharati script. Now going to a step further, they developed a method of reading documents in Bharati script using multilingual optical character recognition scheme. Okay, so what is this OCR scheme? So let us discuss point by point. So it involves the separating the document into text and non-text. Okay, so the first step is separating document into text and the non-text. The text is then segmented into paragraphs, sentences, words, and letters. Then each letter has to be recognized as a character in some recognizable format such as ASCII or Unicode. Okay, so these two terms are important, that is ASCII and Unicode. You should remember these terms because एक तरह की एसोसिएशन इम्पॉर्टेंट हो जाती है अगर कभी बाई चांस साइंस एंड टेक में इसका क्वेश्चन आ गया सो इट कैन क्रिएट अ प्रॉब्लम सो यू शुड बी अवेयर अबाउट दीज टर्म्स देन द लेटर हैज़ वेरियस components such as basic consonant, consonant modifiers, vowels, etc. Okay, so these are the like features of OCR scheme, you can say. Then what is Bharati script? So it is an alternative script for the languages of India, developed by a team at IIT in Madras, and it was led by Srinivasan Chakravarti. So the scripts have been integrated and they include Devanagari, Bengali, Gurmukhi, Gujarati, Odia, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, and Tamil. Okay, so these are the languages or the scripts whose synthesis represent the Bharati script. Then what is the format? The Bharati characters are made up of 3 tiers stacked vertically. The consonant at the root of letter is placed in the center and modifiers are in the top and bottom tiers. Bharati has in general 17 vowels and 22 consonants. So what are these? Here is the image, but it is not important for your exam, so you don't need to get into the details. But the thing is, what is the need for this unified script? So a common script for entire country is a hope to bring down many communication barriers in India. Okay, so these are certain facts which you should remember. Okay, like the format is important. Okay, then apart from it, what is the objective? That is important. सेकेंडली डेवलप कहाँ हुई है मद्रास में, दैट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. और किन किन स्क्रिप्ट्स का ये सिंथेसिस है, दैट इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट. सो ये यहाँ पर मेंशन है. ओके, सो मूविंग ऑन टू द अदर टॉपिक, दैट इज़ नागरधन एक्सकवेशंस फाइंडिंग ऑन वाकटक डायनेस्टी. ओके, सो वाकटक का जो रूल है वो गुप्ता पीरियड के आसपास का पड़ता है. ठीक है, तो इनके बारे में थोड़ा सा पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री भी पढ़ लेना, लेकिन यहाँ पर जो है ये आर्ट एंड कल्चर के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से दिया हुआ है. So archaeological excavations at Nagardhan near Nagpur have provided concrete evidence on the life, religious affiliation and trade practices of Vaktak dynasty and also about Vaktak ruler under the Queen Prabhavati Gupta. So Prabhavati Gupta is like a popular queen. She is also associated with the land grants in the earlier Indian history or the ancient Indian history. So you should read about her in the political context. So let us discuss this article. So about findings and their significance. So first of all, an oval shaped ceiling has been traced. It belongs to the period when the Prabhavati Gupta was queen of Vakatak dynasty. It bears her name in the Brahmi script along with the depiction of conch. The presence of conch, scholars says, is a sign of Vaishnava affiliation that Guptas held. As I told you कि Guptas के आसपास का period है. A copper plate issued by Queen Prabhavati Gupta has also been found. It starts with the genealogy of Guptas. Okay, so that means कि ये Gupta जो थे ये इनके मतलब Guptas were the ancestors of Vaktak, you can say. So it starts with the genealogy of Guptas mentioning the queen's father Samudragupta and her father Chandragupta too. Since the Vaktak people traded with Iran and beyond through the Mediterranean Sea, scholars suggest that these ceilings could have been used as an official royal permission issued from capital city. Okay, so what was the capital city of Vaktaks? You should remember this for prelims. So the capital of Vaktaka was Vatsa Gulma, VA T okay SA Vatsa Gulma GULMA. Okay, so you can write down the spelling or search the internet for the exact information. Okay, so besides these were used on documents that sought mandatory royal permission, so they worked like a seal kind of thing. Okay, authority stamp jaisa. So, who was Queen Prabhavati Gupta? Here are certain facts that the Vakataka rulers were known to have forged several matrimonial alliances with the other dynasties of their times. One of the key alliances was with Prabhavati Gupta of mighty Gupta dynasty, which ruled North India, as I said. Okay, so जो यहाँ पर she mentions about the genealogy of Guptas. So Guptas were not the ancestors of Vaktaka, rather they were the ancestors of Prabhavati Gupta in particular, you can say. Okay, so the Vaktak rulers were known to have forged several matrimonial alliances with other dynasties of their times, and one of the key, as I have told you, alliance was with that of Prabhavati Gupta. After marrying Vaktaka ruler Rudrasena II, Prabhavati Gupta enjoyed the position of chief queen. So scholars says that Prabhavati Gupta was among handful of rulers in India to have reigned over any kingdom during ancient times. Also, there had been no evidence so far of any successor who was female ruler within Vaktak dynasty. She ruled for about 10 years until her son Parvara Sena II succeeded. She also had a pivotal role to propagation of Vaishnava practices in the Vidarbha region of Maharashtra. Okay, so these were the contributions of Prabhavati Gupta in particular. So let us discuss about Vaktak dynasty a little bit. So they ruled the central and the south India between 3rd and 5th centuries. Okay, so the rule of Vaktaka extended from southern edges of Malwa and Gujarat in north to Tungabhadra river in south, as well as from Arabian Sea in west to the edges of Chhattisgarh in east. Okay, so this information is not that important. Then they were the most important successor of Satavahanas in Deccans and contemporaneous with Gupta in northern India. Okay, then they were Shivite rulers. Nagardhan served as the capital of Vakta kingdom. Okay, so if you will search about Nagardhan, uh, so here the magazine mentions that the Nagardhan was the capital of Vaktaka, but on the internet you can also see that Vatsa Gulma, whose present name is Vashem, it is in Maharashtra, also served as a capital in the period of Vaktaka dynasty. Okay, so maybe these two names are similar to the each other, or they are used for the same location, or they might differ, but you should remember the two things, that is Vatsagulma and Nagardhan. Either of two options should be there, and if both are there, you can mark the Vatsagulma, not Nagardhan, because Vatsagulma is mentioned on the various websites. Then the elephant god was commonly worshipped, and animal rearing was one of the main occupation. Remains of 7 species of domestic animal, that is cattle, goat, sheep, pig, cat, horse and fowl, have been traced. The rock cut Buddhist viharas and chaityas of Ajanta caves were built under the patronage of Vaktaka emperor, that is Harishena. Okay, so this is important from art and culture point of view कि अजंता caves किसके अंडर बनी थी. Okay, so in this way the other questions can be asked कि बाघ cave किसके अंडर बनी थी, then Sittan Vasal caves, Ajanta caves, this kind of questions can be asked. Okay, so this is all for this video guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you have liked the video, and we are going to cover all the current affairs very soon.